Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers, Facebookians. Aries here with a video. Welcome to an edition of Living Simply Fun. I got some videos to upload soon, so I'm not going to take and gab off your ear. We just did it. Me and Aaron did two. He's got to edit, so he's got to pause the video game he's playing. I'm hoping after dinner that he'll let me have the PS3 for a bit. I'm thinking of getting into the Elder Scrolls 4 or 5 again and just focusing on that for a while instead of focusing on many things. Today I want to talk to you about a couple things. Oh, we might do a video after dinner, by the way, for Easter. There's one that me and Aaron should do. I think that would help everyone out in the community. I will explain it. Aaron, I hope he doesn't sit there and go, no, it's not going to happen, because Aaron can actually get it done fast, under 10 minutes, I think, if we work it right. So, today I'm talking to you all about, yes, I'm wearing a different shirt because I'm wearing a dress. Aaron says I got a belly, but oh well. That's what happens when you eat all the good food from Aaron. So, anyways, he's got to download. He's downloading. So, this is rich versus expensive, or not expensive. Expensive versus cheap. That's what the topic's about. Now, a lot of people out there, we just did one on cigars, basically. And Aaron said, well, we did one of sophistication. But the word was sophistication. Now, a lot of people out there in the world, they go and they do things like paying for things like a TV. And some people say, yes, I need to buy a TV. Like one guy said he paid $1,800 across the street for his 65-inch TV. Whereas I can buy...
For instance, the difference between these two. This is like 20 bucks a bottle or something. This is almost 220 bucks a bottle.
Yes, exactly.
So, should you go the black label or the blue label?
Depends on what. Now, blue label was a birthday present, and I've been sampling it off and on over the last 7 years.
And then you kind of got a mid-priced one of the green label,
which is $50, and then I got a...
And then there's red label.
Red label's the cheapest,
now, if you're
then there's
just
double black.
Try a bunch of different scotches, you can go with the cheaper ones and basically stick on the cheap side.
I've tried 2/3 of the scotches of the world. Not the most expensivest, but I've tried a lot of them.
Then,
there's
like
a few...
cigars, you got like Raji's Untimely Demise, and then on the other hand, you can have Partagas, or Corona, or, you know, Macanudo.
I was talking to Aaron the other day, and Aaron actually liked the idea about prices, because we were talking about cigars, and I showed Aaron a cigar thing that I wanted to do for him. It'd be just for him, and it would be called, well, I'm not going to tell you what brand it is, but it is Green Cigars. I showed him one, perfect size for him. They're Candelas. He liked them, and I was going to buy some from this one company next month. Now, I've also made arrangements to make and buy a cigar sampler of 30, even if Cigar International doesn't have the Po' Boy 2 or 3 sampler in stock. I want to try various ones, but I've also been looking at buying a humidor combo, which I have some more money floating around, but we also have to look into either train tickets or something going to Whitefish. We have to discuss that, but this isn't about discussion. That's an update video for later. Rich versus poor, or cheap versus expensive, as my mom would say. Now, in the old days, things were expensive and some weren't. But I don't want to sit there and ramble on and on and on about stuff that doesn't have any bearings. But you get the point. The point is, do you choose something like a box of cigars that could be, say, 50 cigars for, say, $59, a little over $1, or do you go out and you spend, say, someone I know that spent $600 to $1,300 a box of cigars, and then do you, for example, and this is part of the thing that I want to get into it, and I have to talk to Aaron about anyways tonight over dinner because it's Easter and it's a good topic, is you go out and spend $600 for a pair of bass fishing rods, or do you go out and look up some information and find bass rods for maybe $75 a piece? Do you buy the cheaper ones that'll do the same job as the more expensive, or etc.? For example, if some of you haven't noticed, and I'll show you, I'm wearing, hold on, let me see if I can do this proper. There you go. I'm wearing a hose, which is about $15 a pair. I have a whole stockpile of them from 15 years old. Now, what does that mean exactly? It means, do I invest money? Yes, but I also make sure I have plenty for a long time. But do you sit there and you invest in, say, something cheap, which you could sit there and say, okay, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to learn this, and find out it breaks quicker? Or do you buy something that works properly? I mean, there's a lot of items out there. Do you choose the T-bone or do you choose the flat iron? Flat iron's more healthier, they say, but...
Or the beef bottom round.
Or the beef bottom round, or the des mio, some call it. Or do you choose the filet mignon? You gotta ask yourself, how many meals do you want to get, or etc.
Now, my friend Quaz, who has no job and no money, he'd get the filet mignon.
For example, here's for an example, right? For example, the other day, and this is something that Aaron and I always do together. He always reprimands me at times, but he's good at it because, well, he's like a husband. And comes to steaks. For example, if Aaron's friend comes out, Josh, I will make sure that we all have steak on the menu, because, if steak's on sale, Aaron knows I will get it. And that's one thing Aaron does like to do. For example, all we got left for the month is meat dishes. Now, some of his dishes are good. I've asked Aaron not to make sriracha veggie burgers for me again. Throw a slap on a steak or whatever. Him and his friend Josh can have it. I mean, I've tried it. Everything else Aaron's made is great. Roasted garlic and macadamia ricotta pizza. Might be a little expensive, but it was filling and rich. Roasted butternut squash and quinoa tacos. As long as I get 2 or 3, I'm fine. I don't need to eat a lot. Made me kind of gassy, though. The Thai peanut soup was fabulous. I want it again. You don't hear me say that much. I also want to say to you all, never mix regular milk and coffee with almond milk and coffee. It gives your stomach the sour thing. You feel like you're going to throw up and you get a tummy ache. But the bottom line is, do you buy stuff that are expensive or do you look at quantity versus quality? Now, as I say, my stockings I'm wearing tonight, I have black, I have pink, and I have white. They're between $9 and $20 a pair. I stocked up on shoes, but as I told the Aaron, the husband, as some call him, my friend of mine tonight said, "Oh, you two are husband and wife." Fine, we're husband and wife. And I told them to leave me alone because they said that. But you get the point, And, anyways, so what does that mean? That means simple. It means you just got to look at the bottom line, the big picture. The big picture is simple. Do you spend a lot of money or do you not spend a lot of money? It's sometimes you can go to, you need new clothes. You decide. Do you get good quality clothes that you can probably wear at the thrift store, or do you go buy a new pair of clothes at Walmart and hope like heck that it lasts long? It's always about what you can afford. That's the main thing. Like Aaron said, his friend would choose the filet mignon. Me, I usually get rib steaks, T-bones, or porterhouses, whatever's on sale.
I usually go beef bottom rounds.
Like the other day, for example, I was talking to Aaron. For all of you out there, I was talking to Aaron about ham the other day. We were looking at going to Safeway, but my buddy pulled in and said we have a spiral cut hickory smoked honey ham for 98 cents a pound. Do you choose the $2.99 ham or did you choose the 98-cent ham? Now, we knew the 98-cent was in town. Guess what happened? Within 24 hours, he was down to no hams left of the spiral cut. He had other hams for 98 cents, but they were like 20-pound hams, and no one wanted to pay $20 for them. So, but, for example, as Aaron, as you gotta say, do you buy a humidor? For example, in cigar terminology. Or do you buy something smaller and hope like heck it works? Sometimes you buy something and it works for a while. Then you say, oh, I need to upgrade. Then you upgrade, and then you have 2 of them. Then you have to maintain 2 of them. Then you figure, oh, well, I need a bigger one because they won't hold enough of my cigars I'm smoking. Then you upgrade it. Next thing you know, you have like 4 cigar humidors that are holding over 2,000 cigars, and you got to think in your head, you got to keep them filled. So if you know what you're going to do and you enjoy a good cigar, for example, you buy quantity over quality. Yeah, sometimes you get crap, but then again, if you know what you're doing, you can get away with some decent cigars. That is for the first thing. Yeah, it's like the pants I buy. Do I choose the brand name expensive pants, or do I go out and buy decent pants? For example, do I go and spend $2 or $3 for a box of 50 envelopes or 40 envelopes from a major place, or do I go and buy $1? These are $1 made in Mexico. I think they're made in Mexico. They might be made in China. Made in China. But you know what? You know, you gotta give it some, you know, whatever. And you know, and you can buy some mead ones made in America for $1 at the dollar store. You sit there and say, oh yes, I'm on a limited income. I need to go and buy $4 for a spiral light bulb like we have up there. Or do you find a deal where they're still selling those old-fashioned ones from 100 years ago, the convalescent light bulbs they call them? Screw one in, psh, it works. You buy a 3-4 pack of those for $1, $1.50, you're good. People say, oh, this and that's expensive. Depends on what you're doing with it. Do you go to your grocery store like Kroger's, Safeway, Albertsons, and pay $2, $3 for toothpaste, or will you go and pay 97 cents for toothpaste at a grocery store? You see? It's either one thing or another thing. For example, Aaron and I were doing some research, and I always keep joking to Aaron about the TV, for example. I keep saying, oh, I'm going to upgrade and get a bigger one. He's like, well, I want this one then. Well, I said this one's going to the bedroom. Well, Aaron knows that I'm not going to go and fork out $1,400 for a 15-inch bigger TV. I could, but then I'd have repercussions with Aaron. Even if I had $500 down or $700 down, I still got to pay the other $700 in, you know. So you got to weigh the pros and cons. Aaron and I, we always discuss finances and what we want to do. Yeah, sometimes we can get a little cranky on things, but you know what? That's what happens when you're, you know, like some people say, you know. And Aaron's right. I should check out in the last video we talked about cigars, I should check out the CAO pack because, you know. But you don't need to spend exuberant amount of money for anything fancy. You can enjoy a good half gallon of brandy with your cigar that tastes good, and some people say, oh, well, I've tried it, it's crap. Well, that's your taste bud. There's aficionados. In my opinion, there's 3 types of aficionados. Now, as I said, I'm a girl. When I like to dress up, Aaron knows I go all out, like tonight. And some say, oh, well, I can be a guy in drag, but I'm not, actually. I've lived as a girl for 15 years. You guys can kiss my butt who's watching this. But when it comes to being aficionados, there's levels of it. There's the poor aficionados, the middle class aficionado, and the wealthy, snooty, jackwagon aficionados. I'm not a wealthy jackwagon aficionado like Aaron's uncle who kicked the bucket. And from what I understand from Aaron's cousins who get some of that inheritance money, and the aunt wasn't that aficionado either. She grew up in a middle class family. So she's not so sophisticated either. Is that correct, Aaron?
Yeah.
Then you got the middle class. My uncle claimed he was a middle class worker, but truthfully he wasn't a aficionado. You can give him a cheap cigar and he'd be happy. But he'd sit there and say, oh, you know, I'd have more money if I wasn't married, blah, blah, blah. Then there's the poor aficionado that looks over everything, whether they're trying to find a way to get something that they'd like to have to be part of the sophisticated class. Like, for example, cigars. And sitting there and saying, oh, well, I'd like to try this or I'd like to try that. I mean, look around. Me and Aaron were talking about Gurkha samplers in our last video. But we were also talking about other things. Gurkha's a brand name, you know. I mean, I've smoked some pretty good, decent Gurkhas in my life. Yeah, they're pretty good, you know. They bring out a lot of smoke, you know. I've smoked some Ashtons. I've seen cigars that are $500 a box just for 24. Like, I don't even know what they call them. Padrone? $500 a box. Yeah. For example. Do you need it? No. You can buy quantity over quality. You can have a humidor. You can load it up with, say, 10 bundles of those 20, you know, of those Raja's Untimely Demise cigars, for example. Load your cigar box up. Let's just say you like them. And then sit there and say, oh, yes, I invested in $600. You could sit there and say, oh, that's nice. I went out and bought me a humidor that holds 150. 2 of those. And then I bought Raja's Untimely Demise. I bought 200 of those. I bought 10 bundles, filled my humidor up. They're good everyday smokes. I can be happy. Yeah, that's the thing. You can do that, or you can sit there and say, yes, I spent $900 for 10 Opus X's. Or etc., for example. And we're not talking just cigars. We're talking everything between there. I was talking to Aaron the other day about some scotch that I wanted. I have some good scotches I won't even open. Some of these scotches are a whopping a lot of moolah. We're talking money through the roof. We're not talking any type of money. We're talking, like $400 bottles. Yeah, you don't pop open a $400 bottle and drink it just because. You savor it over the years, like the Blue Label he was talking about. You savor it. Gifts, some cigar gifts. I won't even open it. I've tried Crystal Macanudos. I've tried Gold Label Macanudos. I've tried other ones. Every time I turn around, heck, I look at these little cigars that Aaron always jokes about. 75 cigars, $50. They're little smaller ones, 20-minute smokes, as they say. That is pretty dang good. But it depends, you can have an anthology sampler pack and 9 cigars here. You can have other brands, but you look at these prices, for example. They're just so expensive. Other things, like, for example, people sit there and say, oh, yes, fly fishing. Oh, it's so expensive. Yes, but the fly fisherman that starts out can basically get a crappy $20 fly rod that will break. Or you can look into investing in $100, $120, $150, $200, get a decent rig set up, and then go fishing all the time. It won't break. It's got a lifetime warranty. And then you can sit there and say, well, I got into the sport, but I didn't pay $600, $800. I mean, heck, I was talking to someone the other day. The same guy that likes $600 to $900+ boxes of cigars. He was talking about buying a fly rod from Orvis. Mind you, Orvis. You can't have any other brands, basically. I've looked at Orvis. But Orvis makes some pretty good ones. You got glass rod and touch rods. He wanted a Helios rod, but he didn't want any Helios rod. He wanted the Helios 2-weight 6-foot for streams. A 2-weight. Well, guess what? $1,200. You know what? You can, for $1,200, you can get multiple fly rods for that price. Would you get multiple fly rods under warranty for that, or would you go out and fork out $1,200? The other day, I was talking about how he needed to get a few more fly rods for saltwater fishing. He wanted to do some more saltwater. So I said, what are you thinking about? He said he wanted a minimum 10-weight, 10 to 14-weight. That's almost $1,400. Yeah, that's nice and all and dandy. $1,400, and you got to get the line for it. Then you got to get the proper gear for it. In the end, you're forking them through the nose. Do you spend $1,400 or do you spend less? Aaron and I are going to talk over dinner tonight about fly rods because we're about on the brink of picking up some decent ones for salmon and steelhead. He actually took some time today, this happy Easter, to look into it, you know. That one looks really nice. But yeah, anyways, because of it, you know, you just got to look at the big pictures. I mean, for example, let me show you something. For example, here's some Partagas, as I call them, or some call them Partagas. Now, Partagas go, the extra Oscuros looks really nice. I don't know what type of thing it is, but the Supremos and the Gigantes, 86 to 90 bucks a box. Yeah, I'd get a box of those. There's 18. Partagas full flavor right here, $48 to $125. My black labels I like, I get Classicos to Gigantes, $99 to $114. Those are what I smoke right there. Then they got the regular Partagas, and then they got the Cifuentes. But guess what? Talking about those, would I choose Partagas over Cohibas? Well, let's see. For example, I'm a cigar person. I've smoked a few in my life or more. But they're like this. Aaron asked me about the acid one. I'm going to have to look into before uploading so I don't tie up the net slowing down because it does take time. But, for example, Cohibas. I've smoked some good Cohibas, but you know what? Cohibas are $20 to $30 a stick at most cigar places. I used to go to a cigar place. Here we go. Regular Cohibas. The ones I like, Churchill's, $342 a box. Cohiba Blacks, you're looking at $80 cheaper. Gigante, or Supremos or Churchill's, $275 to $282. Diamantes, new ones, I don't even know what they are. Gigantes, $242 for 10. The Cohiba XV 15s. 660 Pyramids, $297. And then you got Cohiba Regulars. Oh no, these ones up there are not regulars. These are pure Dominicans. Pure Dominicans are this one here, which is the ones I read first. But Churchill's again, $282. Cohibas are Partagas. Partagas, thank you, because I've smoked plenty of them in my life. However, I like Romeo and Juliet Anniversarios. There's the Gurkha sampler, but you get the point. Point is, do you choose whatever it is, quantity over quality, or do you choose quality over quantity? Now, if you're not going to smoke many, for example, you choose quality. But if you smoke plenty and you want to try a lot of them, you choose quantity. Now, for items and stuff, for example, I was talking to Aaron the other day. He was talking about this the other day. And he smells really nice. He smells really cute with this, by the way. Being like a wifey, as a lot of people say. He smells really good wearing Tarragon Noir for men. Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, it stinks. It smells like toilet water. Well, guess what? This here is a knockoff of what he used to buy all the time. And he used to pay like $100 a bottle for the stuff he likes. But now, he's paying $1 for it. It's a knockoff and it smells perfect for him. Heck, the other day I was buying some stuff and I came across some perfume that I liked. He said, hey, this smells really good. You should get a bottle. I got it for $1. Then when I went back to see if they had the other perfumes I wanted for $1, sold out. They only had 3 bottles of the other. I bought the other 3, asked my neighbor about it. She says, oh, it smells sweet. But she didn't say, oh, I stink at it. But people ask me all the time, oh, that perfume smells good. Where'd you get it? And I tell them, they're a little cranky. Why? Because I found something that's really perfect. It's a knockoff of Chanel. Smells great. Cost me $1. Yeah. So if you want to go and spend $50, $100 for Chanel or Aaron's Tarragon Noir, go ahead, spend all the money you want. Be a person that likes to throw money away. But when you don't have money to throw away, then you change your course at times and you throw money away with differently. Now, there you have it. I can't just sit there and keep gabbing on and on and on. You get it. Rich versus poor. Ask yourself. Or expensive versus cheap. Cheap versus expensive. Do you choose something that's affordable, or do you choose something that's out of your price range? That's the other thing. I got a friend, the same guy, for example, that chooses $900 to $1,400 cigar in the box. He chooses $1,200 to $1,400 fly rods, and then he chooses $1,300 plus handguns. Sorry, but if you're gonna get a handgun, it does the same protection as a cheaper one made in the Philippines or cheaper one made in America. It does the same job. You just don't need something that's you're going to carry every day that costs more money, and then you throw around, hey, anyways, look what I bought. You buy stuff that's in your price range, and you save a lot of money in the bank or in the pot for a rainy day. That's how you do things, So, with that said, it's like me. I can go and spend $5 for a pair of hose, or I can buy the ones that I like and keep at it until I'm go and put them in my nylon bag and wash them, and then they're clean for several more usage, because, when you got to go out to doctor's appointment, etc., you do. I mean, I haven't wore a dress yet to the doctor's. I'm usually wearing slacks and pants and etc., but time will come when I'll have to go in a dress. And, well, in the old days, 15 years ago, I went to doctors in dresses. So, what does that tell you exactly? It tells me this girl has to choose. Did me and Aaron did the right thing for the TV? Yes. We did reviews. That's the other thing. Review everything you purchase before buying. Some people say a lot of different things. Rich versus poor, poor versus rich. Do you want to be aficionado of the middle class even though you're poor? Don't. Choose what you can afford and just sit there and say, well, I've tried these. If someone says they're crap, well, guess what? They have more money to throw around than you. Now, if you have a poor schlub like Aaron's rich uncle that wants to throw no money away, and then he just buys all his expensive stuff because, well, that's the way he is, so be it. The bottom line is affordability, quantity over quality, or price versus expensive. You choose. That's all that matters. But to me, I'll do my research, and even though I'm poor, I will get the best bang for my money, and Aaron will get the best bang for his money. With that said, everyone have a safe and happy Easter. I'm sorry I rambled on a bit, but you get the point. Quantity versus quality, or price versus expensive. Oh, and Aaron would say this to me: cheaper versus rich, or cheap versus poor, or not cheap versus expensive. He would ask the main key question: would you pay $200 for an item, or $1,400 an item for the same item if the item did the same job? It's basically your taste buds, and it's basically the authority and the rights of you having bragging rights of what you spent. That's it. What if the cheaper item lasts longer than the rich item, and then the rich guy is throwing a fit because it's broke? You see? Weigh those. Please add and subscribe. Please post comments. Please add us as a friend. Please subscribe. Please leave feedback. Have a happy and safe Easter, and may God bless the world.